episode 17 of Emerge Podcast. We've put it out of the bag. Again, we've got Scottish comedy legend, TV presenter, host of radio show, Off the Ball, and most interesting of all, Motherwell fan, Tam Cowan. How's it going, Tam?
Very well, very well. Although I can nearly always greet the minute I hear Motherwell, because I've been lucky enough to get 2 wee recent trips up to the stadium, up to meet the commercial manager. As you know, every penny's a prisoner now, and we're trying to get some events organised to raise a few shekels at the club once this is all finally over. And honestly, it breaks my heart. I'm not normally the kind of emotional type, but the twice that I was up recently, once to get my cardboard cutout, as Motherwell just one of the clubs that's doing the old cardboard cutout thing. £22 it costs. You can get your face in there during the closed door games, which I don't fancy at all. I'm dreading the prospect today. When you watch the English stuff, it's absolutely garbage and soulless, you know, no matter how much noise they want to put on with the sound effects for Sky. But in the two times rather that I've been up third part, once for the cardboard cutouts and then for another wee meeting last week, I look around the big empty stadium, and as great and as very comfortable and very homely as it has been in there, I do start dreading when we are actually going to be able to sit in there and sit next to my pals and go for a bovril at half time. I still think it might be a wee bit off.
I was going to say, have you had any sort of time scale?
Well, if I had to put money on it, I'll not tell you who told me, but if I had to put money on it, I don't think there'll be a crowd inside a Scottish game until the start in November, which means, of course, that, you know, Celtic were maybe wasting their time getting the SPFL computer drunk one night and allowing it to get the fixtures exactly the way Peter Lawwell and Neil Lennon wanted them, you know. That comes out that could have been a complete waste of time. So, you know, I think it might be November. Now, don't get me wrong, beggars can't be choosers. As long as you would think in one respect that as long as the games start, and let's still hope and pray it's August the 1st. As I say every week when we would meet Professor Jason Leach on, he's been increasingly confident about that date, right up to last Saturday when we had them on. So August the 1st would be great, but I must be brutally honest. I know the clubs need the money in. I know we need the Sky TV deal to kick into place so that we don't effectively renege on that and they pull out the funds or anything. But I really wish there was some way we could still get round the table, and if it was financially possible, we could only start back in Scotland when we know we've got some sort of crowd inside the ground. But the flip side to that is the idea that we came up with last Saturday and Off the Ball, and we really ran with it over both shows, was the very idea, because social distancing doesn't apply to this section of getting sorry? What was that?
I was going to mention that. I was listening to that the other day. I was going to mention getting 11-year-olds in and getting the youth into the stadiums to sit down.
Yeah.
My internet went really bad, guys. Sorry.
There you go. But I like when folk, when they just interrupt you, they just blame it on being frozen or something, or blame it on
that's real bad internet there, guys. That's all my fault.
Sorry, happens all the time. But no, I don't think that's such a bad idea. And apart from the normal kind of folk who mention about red tape and how in this day and age you can't, for every 25 kids that you have in a football ground, you need one adult supervisor, and adults couldn't go in because of all the rules to do with COVID-19. But I think there comes a point, I'd like to get a list of them. In fact, there must be so many rules, even at government level or at social level, or just life rules for the 21st century that have been a wee bit bent and a wee bit buckled during this crisis. So I'm sure we could maybe twist the rules. And when we were talking about it as a matter of parents, let's say, driving their kids, we'll use Fir Park as an example. They drive the kids up to Fir Park. The parents don't get out the car. When you're in the car on the way there, you're in your one wee social bubble, because the folk you've been in the house with for 100 plus days now. You drop the kids off, they go into the stand, they pick a seat, they can fight our seats if they want because they're able to touch each other, there's no social distancing, and you just let them enjoy themselves. And as I say, after we mentioned the subject on last Saturday's lunchtime show, I get 3 text messages from two current players and one current coach involved in the top flight, and they all said that's a great idea. They all said bring it on, and particularly for the players' point of view. You'll have been at games where a lot of kids are maybe allowed into a particular fixture, and sometimes it doesn't sound too great, and it's like screaming wains and all that, and it sounds a very unreal atmosphere. But at least it would be an atmosphere. And I reckon the players, and even for the adults, if you like, the adult supporters watching at home on the laptop or the phone or whatever it might be, it would be a better atmosphere for them, I'm pretty sure, rather than just listening to some piped-in sound effects, So I'm all for it.
Aye. Do you think that, see when they watch the games now and they've got the piped-in sounds, as you say, did they hear that? Did the players hear that in the stadium as well?
You know what? I think it's high time, I'll do it tomorrow in the radio, but I think it's high time somebody get a bloody answer to that, because I have been asked that by a variety of people, 4 folk this week, 2 of them in 2 other podcasts, because as you know, guys, you're one of 13.5 million people in Scotland currently doing a podcast, so you get quite a lot of these requests, but it's a great question. I don't know what I compare it to. Now, the pair of you are a lot younger than me, but you'll still have watched repeats of Bullseye on Challenge TV.
Aye.
I used to wonder that when they were up throwing the darts, just when they were throwing the darts at the start for either the subject board or just trying to score the highest, I used to wonder, could the players hear that in the studio? Because that would maybe put you off. And then, when it comes to them throwing for 101 or more with 6 darts to get Bully's star prize at the end, you get the big drum roll, blah, 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 and I thought, can they hear that in the studio? Because that would put you off as well. So it's a good shout. I don't know if anybody's got the answer to that. I would imagine, only because football players, they always tell you when it comes to even shouts to get for the terraces or that, the old cliche they say is the minute they cross that white line, everything is just blotted out. They can't hear anything and they focus in the game. So it might even be pointless playing it out over the tannoy at the stadium, but it's an interesting one. I'll definitely try and find that out tomorrow. Aye,
we need to get that, get to the bottom of that. What's your sort of earliest memory, Tam, of being a Motherwell fan? Is it run your family? Because you're a few that way, is that right?
I know. I mean, my dad was a kind of Motherwell fan light, as I'd say. He always supported his local team. Son, I think, is very important, but he didn't necessarily go to a lot of the games apart from back in the days when he was a boy as well. But I grew up just about 1.5 miles, whatever, down the road from Fir Park. And so as a kid, when you were out playing, just as a young kid, as everybody used to do back in my age, you'd run about the streets morning, noon and night. There was always, maybe let's say on a Wednesday, which is the only night you used to get midweek football. Maybe you're out playing with your pals on a Wednesday night and you'd look away up in the distance, away up the hill, and you'd see the glow of the floodlights and you'd realise that there was a game on at Fir Park. And that, even before you were really remotely interested in going, that did give you a wee interest. And then when you finally, just as young kids as well, with probably a wee squaddy has made the big the decision to head up to Fir Park when there was a game on, which seemed like, going on a day trip or something, and we'd have headed up there, and it'd been the classic thing of getting a lift over or whatever. I don't know why they still don't do that. I mean, quite frankly, clubs like Motherwell, St Mirren, whoever, you should still be allowed to give kids a lift over the turnstile, because there's acres of empty seats. And I always argue that if you've got a kid there, if anybody came up to me and I'm away at the Fir Park, can we get a lift over, mister? Absolutely no problem, because when they grow up, it might be like me, who got my first season ticket for my 10th birthday. And when these kids grow up, they before you know it, they're your next stream of customers. They might want to buy season tickets. They might want to, when they're in work, they might run their own business. Think, you know what, I'm going to sponsor Motherwell, or at the very least, you know what, I'm going to take some hospitality. So that's the generation to look after. Don't chase them away when you've got acres of empty seats sitting there. But so we would go up and get a lift over. And then, as I say, because I'm a firm believer, you get some folk when you ask them that question, you're expecting the answer to when did you go to your first game, as if, I was a babe in arms. And my dad, I was 3 days out of the maternity ward, the umbilical cord had hardly even been cut, and my dad took me up to see Motherwell against Hibernia, and then, you know, I think that's a lot of shite, frankly, because you need to hit a certain age, and my best example of that, my mate Neil, who I sit next to the football, his boy Matthew, who's now about 21, I think, he brought him originally to the games when he was about 3, 4, maybe 3 or 4, and he wasn't remotely interested, and it just became, you know, a nuisance for my mate Neil in terms of having to look after him, and he would have to take him to the toilet, and he would have wee tantrums, and he'd have to take him outside or phone his wife to come and pick him up and all. It was a nightmare, you know. So lo and behold, Neil sensibly had a wee hiatus period with Matthew. He didn't appear for a few seasons. Then he started coming back as a regular when he was about, I don't know, maybe 10, and he's no missed a game since. And he sits there and watches the football. So I was a wee bit like that. Lo and behold, 10 with me as well. In April of 79, it would have been. 10th birthday. I get a season ticket for the following year as my big birthday present. And that was me. I started going for that season on, and I've kind of renewed it every year since. So that was when and I would say that when I get into it, I mean, we went up for the loft hours as kids. You know, I'm talking, I even get up there when I was maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 year old. I can't claim that I was particularly interested in it. It was mere the big adventure to go into this big place called Fir Park, a big stadium with the big lights and all these crowds inside and outside. And that was all it was as a kid before the football bug really kind of bit. You know, so I'd say anyhow about 10. That's my recollection of starting to watch games and starting to know which player was which, etc.
Who was the manager? Was that about kind of Davy Hay, sort of Tommy McLean sort of time? Was that?
It was just before Davy Hay. It was the last chuck of the dice by Ali McLeod, who we got when he came back to Argentina with Scotland, and then, as I say, for season 81-82, which we won the old First Division under Davy Hay, that was the first year that I was really just besotted with the football, because it helps. It's a wee bit the same way to say that you know, the worst thing you can do with a puggy, a fruit machine, and a pub or anything, or an amusement arcade, is to win money out it right away, because that's you think you'll win all the time. But in a way, I was able to get hooked on Motherwell, because that season under Davy Hay, we were beating teams 5, 6, 7-0 every week, home and away. We ran away with the old First Division. We won it in March. We were officially declared champions in March when we won a midweek game up at Wraith Rovers. I mind all the Motherwell fans piling onto the park. So that was me absolutely hooked with that season. And to be honest with you, for the season and a half before or whatever, when I had my season ticket, the start of my season ticket, probably the big thrill of going along then, even though we weren't very good, was just that guy sitting in the dugout was the guy that I'd watched in Argentina, sitting shaking his seed and his head in his horns and all that, when I was watching Peru and Iran getting results against us and that. So there was watching like a big Hollywood celebrity. So, you know, there was Ali McLeod sitting in that wee box at the side of the park, you know. But Davy Hay, first season that I thought, this is good. I like this.
So going back to, these times Motherwell were charging on, as you say, one on the old First Division sort of thing. So they were don't get me wrong, they've improved big time over the last few seasons, but did you say they were one of the better teams then in Scottish football back then?
Back when, sorry?
Back when you were growing up, so about the Davy Hay sort of era?
Oh, David, well, I mean, we were a wee bit, the wee couple of seasons there, we were kind of yo-yo. Davy Hay brought us up, and then he left to go to America. I think it was a simple thing, as you see, you know, any sort of personnel leaving Motherwell to go to a better paid gig tends to be that any gig that you get offered when you're at Motherwell is, of course, better paid, because we're not a huge club, we don't have a lot of money. So Davy Hay went there for some, can't mind what the job was, but he went to America, some maybe coaching capacity at maybe a college or something. I can't mind exactly what it was. But it was a real disappointment at the time. And Jock Wallace came in after him and kind of, I think, slowly dismantled his team. And it didn't work out too well. And we get relegated again. And then where the whole history of the club changed, if you like, when we get relegated, we we went down to the first division. Tommy McLean, who had just got Greenock Morton promoted,
Right.
he was offered the gig at Motherwell, and he clearly saw Motherwell as being a bigger club than Morton with more opportunity. So Tommy came back down the divisions again to take over at Motherwell, and then he brought us back up when we won season. That would be what, 84, 85, and then we've enjoyed. That's now 35 years of top flight security, albeit with a wee nod to league reconstruction that saved us once when they expanded the league, and of course, which even any Motherwell fan will tell you was a nonsense, when we were spared relegation because the SPFL, Roger Mitchell et al. Dictated that Brockville wasn't fit for top flight football. So poor old Falkirk got a dinghy, and we were saved that year as well. So, you know what, really ridiculous stuff. But so we've been 35 years now, top flight, so it's been brilliant.
It's been brilliant. Well, see, just on to your career, what actually came first for you? Was it radio or TV or comedy? What sort of came first for you?
Window cleaning.
Window cleaning.
During the 1986 World Cup in Mexico, I inherited a window cleaning round from a guy that was in our street, and it was brilliant because I was like a millionaire. It was just an our scheme, and I only did it on a Sunday, but boy, I didn't half batter in. So it was like £1 a house, absolutely dirt cheap, you know. And I somehow managed to do 40 houses in a Sunday. Getting up early in the morning, doing it right through to tea time. I must have been the fittest guy in Scotland at the time, up and down the ladders and everything. I'd horns like, you know, that were like a 3-year-old tangerine, like in and out the pail and all that. But I did that in the summer of '86, and you know, so 40 hussies at £1 a pop. To be that age, I was just about to go into 6th year at high school. And then I had 40 quid in my Sky Rocket once a week. It was absolutely brilliant, you know. But when I was in 6th year at high school, I got involved in a wee bit of writing, and started sending some stuff off to radio sketch shows and telly sketch shows, and primarily at the time in England, doing stuff like Radio 2 and Radio 4. And they used some stuff, these programmes that I'd sent stuff into, so it gave me a wee bug for that. And then through doing that, I get involved with writing stuff for Scottish programmes at the BBC. And I mean, even the early days, the Only an Excuse, I was very lucky to get some lines on that, and it was basically just audio tapes, you know. And then the producer of that, Phil Differ, who, funnily enough, I was out for a coffee with yesterday, a wee socially distant coffee round about Glasgow. Phil, I had a meeting with him, and they were doing stuff like Naked Radio on Radio Scotland, which then became Naked Video. So I did a bit of that and a wee bit of like Scotch and Rye. So there was a lot of Scottish stuff at the time. And then through that, I got a wee start with Evening Times in 1991, doing a wee strip column on a Monday. And the great thing about that was 91, of course, I'll not even mention it in this because it's an off-the-ball trope, but it was a great year to be a Motherwell fan. And it really helped me starting out in the newspapers that year, because I'm sure I had many a sleepless night about getting up the next day when I had to write a column and having a big blank page and not having anything I could think of. There was never a shortage of stuff because Motherwell went on that brilliant run all the way to Hampden. So that was a good time for me to start. Then about a year later, I get my second column for Evening Times, and then a year later, I get my third. So they were basically paying my salary, if you like, and I was doing a lot of writing for still for the radio and the telly. And then through the two platforms in '95, I got a call about doing Off the Ball. And then we're doing Off the Ball on national radio, the Evening Times, in Glasgow, if you like, in West Scotland. And then in '98, I get the wee transfer to the Daily Record. And then we have the Daily Record as a national paper, the BBC stuff nationally. We then get a wee start, bits and pieces with the telly and that. And then starting Offside, which ran for 9 years.
It was brilliant.
So it was a kind of wee funny path I went on. But with everything that I did and still try to do, it was just a matter of getting your head down and really getting on with it, giving it your best shot and hoping that something comes out of it.
See, we off the ball, do you think it benefits that you, so obviously you're a Motherwell fan and Stuart Sass Johnson fan, isn't he? So
Aye.
do you think it helps that you're no part of the big two in Scotland to be able to kind of...
We are the big two in Scotland. Motherwell, St Johnstone, you watch this. No, I know what you mean, aye. No, and I think you're absolutely right. We often wonder, not so much what it would have been like if, let's say, I supported Rangers and Stuart supported Celtic, right? Mm-hmm. It's more intriguing what it would have been like if, let's say, I supported one half of the Old Firm and Stuart was still a St Johnstone fan, or vice versa. We wonder what that dynamic would have been like. But I don't think there's any doubt that we started. We had a great big audience, untapped audience out there who were maybe pig sick of the mainstream media absolutely arse-licking when it came to Celtic and Rangers, and turning up at Rangers and Celtic players' front doors on their birthday with a big birthday cake that they get captured for the cameras and all that kind of crawling stuff, you know. So when we were able to come out and kind of shout up for the wee teams, which we still try our absolute best to do, which is why I can't wait to get in the morning and set about the SPFL's computer generator and all that, you know. Must be great if you think that every club could just, you know, speak aloud about what you want, how you want your fixtures to pan out, and lo and behold, the computer was listening. You know, it's absolutely incredible. I'd love to get a bet on that. I really would. I'm out to sync now with my regular visits to the bookies as I still do. I like a gamble in that, but I don't bet online mainly because I'm a shite bag, and I fear that. As far as I'm aware, if you've got an online betting account, correct me if I'm wrong, but you could just sit there and keep gambling until your bank account was cleared out.
Aye, pretty much. I think they've maybe put in some sort of regulation now that maybe you can put caps on it, but I think you're right.
So I would never do that, but I'm a regular at the horse racing, and I used to own a lot of greyhounds and that, and race them at Shawfield Stadium. And if I could have got a bet on that Celtic versus, and it even was the right way round. It was even the way Celtic wanted it. They were wanting the game at home, it wasn't it? And I thought the SPFL, they could at least play ball and say, right, we'll go with that fixture, but we'll have it at Ibrox, right? So it looks half no crooked, you know. But I just thought, you know, and I'd love to get a bet in that for that to come out. The absolute final fixture in the first quarter of games that were published. I mean, it was incredible, absolutely incredible.
How was the draw for yourselves?
We're again, and you think, what does that mean? We are away at the opening game week. Motherwell were up at Ross County on the Monday night, right? Now, here's where this is shite for me. Because of the radio, away games for me are an absolute luxury, right? I can leave the BBC 2 o'clock on a Saturday after our first show, bomb it out to Fir Park, watch the game, leave 5 minutes early to beat the traffic, and get back in for the show at night. Easy peasy, right? And touch wood, I've never been caught in traffic or had a flat tyre or anything, right? When it comes to the away games, right, I'm hoping, but the minute it gets into October, even maybe into November, I start playing any time Motherwell are due away from home for a heavy frost or an absolute snowstorm. It gets the game postponed and put on. Totally selfish, I know. It gets the game put on midweek so then I can get to it. So I must be honest, see the idea of Motherwell playing the league opener at Ross County in Dingwall on a Monday night, that would have been heaven to me ordinarily, because I'd have gone up, I'd have maybe even made a night out, stayed overnight somewhere in Dingwall, went up with a couple of pals or whatever, and it'd have been brilliant, a great day out. But it's bonkers because Motherwell are now going to go up there on the Monday night, and I stress, getting up on the Monday night, they might have, because it's such a long trip, they might have gone up the previous night to keep the players fresh, or they might have gone up early in the day and get into a hotel in the afternoon for a wee sleep for 2 hours. They're not going to do that now. I know that for a fact, talking to them at the club the other day. So Motherwell are going to go up that long run. If in one coach, it'll be a big 53-seater, with basically just the bare bones on the bus. The first team squad, or the first team as selected by Stevie Robinson, and you know, just a handful of the backroom staff spread out on the bus. might have to be 2 buses because of the regulations.
Yeah.
And that probably they'll get, if they're not already going with a kit on, they'll get a quick change up there. And then they'll play the game, back on the bus and straight back down the road, you know. And I believe, I might be speaking out of turn, but I believe, and I would encourage them to do it, you know, as long as they observe all the social distancing rules. And I think there might be a wee handful of Motherwell fans get up just to watch the game and have a pint maybe in Dingwall and watch it on their tablet or whatever, but just feel that they're part of it up there. Now, I worried about this. The minute closed door games were mentioned, for the first time they were mentioned, which is now a good couple of months ago, when we knew we weren't going to get crowds in, I feared that, particularly, let's say, the big English games, let's say the Man City-Liverpool game, when they were effectively crowned champions, they get their guard of honour, Liverpool going on to the park. I thought there must be Man City and Liverpool fans who, for 50 years perhaps, have never ever missed a game, and they wouldn't be able to resist an occasion like that. They would want to maybe congregate outside the stadium and watch the game on their phone or whatever, but just feel that they were there. And I thought, in terms of a crowd, that's a recipe for disaster. And it could start a second outbreak and all the rest of it. But you know, as time marches on, and as I say, you're only maybe talking about a handful, a wee posse of Motherwell fans, maybe some of the well boys who create the atmosphere inside the stadium. Maybe some of them are going to take a header up. And as long as they do everything safely, then I don't have an issue with that.
Aye, no problems. How did you meet Stuart initially, Tam? Was it just through the show?
The first day we did the first show, that's when we met. I had done Off the Ball, some folk always forget, for a year before Stuart got involved. But it was a kind of different show, but it was how Off the Ball started. It was Greg Hemphill of Game fame, who hosted it, and it was me and Sanjeev Kohli of Still Game fame, and another fella, a roving reporter called Ian Ross, and that's how Off the Ball started. It basically started 94, August 94 for a season, and it was only half an hour. It just came on at 5:30 to 6 o'clock after the football, and that was it. And Greg and Sanjeev and Ian, by their own admission, they weren't really big football fans. They didn't actually go to games or anything like that, you know. And I was the only one that did. So when they were wanting to continue with the idea of Off the Ball and I think they're a fan show, they brought Stuart in to present a revamped Off the Ball, and because we'd had a great reaction to the first year, but it's just it wasn't quite right. The dynamic wasn't there. So it was Stuart that came in as a host. And because I'd been there the previous year, I was in first with him for the first week. But the idea at that stage, though, I must be honest, was to have like a rotation system. It might have been somebody else in with Stuart the next week, somebody else the next week, maybe me back if me and Stuart had been all right for the fourth week. But the first week that me and Stuart did it, first day I met him, we kind of clicked a wee bit. And I think the Motherwell St Johnston thing, support my Diddy team, helped. I think the fact that even though a lot of folk we were deemed to be in the way we present ourselves, poles apart, Stuart, you know, pointed out early doors that we'd very, very similar upbringings. For example, him in a council scheme in Perth, me in a council scheme in Motherwell. So there was a lot there where we had a common bond. So I think that's what gave us a wee spark right for that first day. So lo and behold, and good on Stuart, he said to the producer after that first week, he says, you know what, I think maybe keep me and Tam next week, that seemed to work. So that then kind of spawned the format of the early years of the show, because it was me and Stuart and then one other at the time, and it was ordinarily then, I mean, the first couple of years, I don't think we had a so-called celebrity, an ex-player, a current player, an ex-manager on. It tended to be because the kind of hard copy fanzines were still really selling well, still hugely popular. So we had an absolute rake of fanzine editors who we had on shouting the odds for their club. So that they were the early days.
Brilliant. Does it feel as if it's been over 25 years? Has it flew by?
Yes and no. When I do think back to maybe the early days and where we went one night after a show in such and such place for a drink. Oh, do you remember we bumped into him? Or, do you remember we went down with the producer to the Riverboat Casino and we watched Paul Laurie stunned in the water, I'm winning the Open.
Right.
The other boy had put his ball in the water, the French guy, mind
right.
that. Now, that was the way back in 1999.
Right.
And if I think back to then, I think, God, that seems like an absolute eternity ago. But, 25 years, it kind of, it does kind of whiz by because it's just, I think it's in keeping with the show. I mean, we always run out of time in the show. And we always, and I feel quite bad about it at times, but there's nothing we could do. We get such an input for the listeners with texts and emails. And comments and Twitter and all that, and we can never get through them all.
Aye.
I mean, I keep them all. I'm always after every second show on a Saturday night. I take all the emails that I haven't used because they all get handed into me in the studio, or it happens now they get sat on a chair between the studio and the booth next door, and I go and pick them up. Actually, all social distancing, ordinarily for the vast majority of time, they get handed to me by one of the runners that works in the show, and a big wedge of emails. And it's funny how you train your mind to, like speed read these things, just to try and immediately. You don't want to start reading one out, particularly if it's a quite long thing and you realise it's just frittering out and there's no point to it. You want to chuck out the right good stuff there. So because of that, I make sure that all the stuff that isn't read, I take it home with me, and then normally on a Sunday, when I get up and I've read my papers and that, I'll get the big wadgy emails, sit them down in front of me, and just like a teacher marking the homework or whatever, I'll go through them all. And I mark things off with a highlighter or a wee asterisk with a pen. And then I keep the ones and I put them back in the folder. And they go back in with me. And if there's anything still relevant, as a wee throwback to last week's shows, then I'll chuck these in.
Aye. Brilliant.
I don't know. Can you hear me at all? No.
Aye, I can hear you.
Yes.
Sorry, Tam. There was highly technical issues here in the car. I can only apologise. Sorry, but I'll come back to you. I've seen you talking about the show. And is social media changed that a lot? Is that like you're talking about Twitter and stuff like that? Has that helped you in any way, or is it hindered you?
I think it has helped because originally the correspondence, because we've been on for 25 years. For the first several years of starting the show, we were getting letters, handwritten letters,
wow,
sent in as a correspondence. That's how old the show is, and just because of the nature of that, somebody having to physically sit down, get some writing paper, get a pen, get an envelope, get a stamp, go and post a letter, you get nowhere near as much correspondence. We still got a load of it, and it was great to receive it. But the minute everybody suddenly went digital and you were getting emails sent in, and then later on, whatever it is now, I think Twitter's now maybe 11 years old. The minute you started getting all the tweets in and that, which a lot of folk like sending you, then it just absolutely exploded. So it's good in terms of like giving you an absolute wealth of material, because I'm forever crediting the listeners with the success and the longevity of the programme, because they're the ones that really make it whistle with the stuff they send in. It's just incredible. We've got a lot of really smart, funny listeners who are like they're an added dimension to the show.
Yeah, definitely. See, moving on to your Offside days. So, Offside was I love the show. Like, it was absolutely amazing. What was that like when you kind of made the transition for? I know you said you'd done a wee bit of telly here and there, but what was the transition like for being primarily in the radio to then everybody watching you?
Well, the good thing was I had a great grounding with that, because in 1998, around about the start of the 98-99 football season in August, the BBC launched these regional satellite stations. You had BBC Choice Scotland, BBC Choice England, BBC Choice Wales, BBC Choice Northern Ireland, which 2 years later they all kind of merged them. They had a wee reshuffle and they became BBC 3 and BBC 4, right. Which are still here with us. BBC 3, I think, online only, but BBC 4, you'll see it there in your Sky Planner. But in the 2 years that BBC Choice Scotland existed, the commissioner at the time, Ewan Angus, who I still see from time to time now for a pint, he was wanting me to do something on this new channel, because by that time I'd had a wee kind of national platform with Off the Ball and a national platform in the papers with the Daily Record. So that's when we started doing Offside with me in the hot seat. Now, it was only done because the BBC Choice Scotland budget was minuscule. It was just done in Studio B, the old Studio B at Queen Margaret Drive, the old BBC. Right. And it was just a small studio. It was me presenting it and with two guests, and it was invariably a fairly low rent. That sounds like I'm a bit harsh, but it wasn't an A-list celebrity, shall we say, right? Aye. But it was somebody you knew as maybe a celebrity football fan, and ordinarily sitting next to a journalist, a football journalist. That was the dynamic for my two guests. But the great thing was, we still had the cameras there, we had the auto cues, we had to go out and film inserts to play in, we did vox pops, almost primarily to keep the cost down in the Botanic Gardens across the road for the BBC. There was always a script written at me and my pal to this day, who we did all the Offside programmes together for the 9-year history. My pal Rob Christie, who's now in charge of everything at the comedy unit in Glasgow. We still had to put out a script every week, with jokes and with material and with inserts and everything. So it was absolutely brilliant training. And some of the shows themselves were really good, and some of them I really, really enjoyed. We recorded those ones back in the day at BBC Choice Scotland. We kind of recorded them about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right, in at the BBC, and they went out on BBC Choice Scotland. But again, just with the nature of the beast, I didn't even have satellite telly at the time, so it completely, I had never seen one of these programmes, But the interesting thing was, for all the techie whiz kids out there who are always the first to get the new gadget, or first to get, when it was like Blu-ray, DVDs or whatever it might be, or the first to get the new iPhone, there was a lot of folk out there that started getting correspondence for, who say that, Tam, I get BBC Choice Scotland on a Monday night and I'm able to see the show. Absolutely brilliant, So it was a great training, it was a great grounding to do 2 years that, and we did it every single week. Yep. It was a wee bit like the radio. We didn't do it like a wee series of 6 or a series of 10 or whatever. So we did that every week, out with the kind of summer break, if you like. Did that every week for 2 years. And then because it had kind of worked, we get the big transfer, if you like, for BBC Choice Scotland to BBC One Scotland on a Monday night. So I didn't exactly go into it, wet behind the ears, but where it was different, of course, was suddenly getting in there with much, much bigger guests. We had every day, Matt Lettice, Kevin Keegan, the Reclaimers, we had everybody. We had much bigger guests. It was a bigger studio. And of course, because of that bigger studio, we were able to get in an audience of, I think the capacity you could get in Studio A in Glasgow was about 274 or something like that. Right. So you were doing it in front of a live audience, and it was as live. We did it in the 7 years we did it on BBC One. We did over 100, about 120 shows, I think we must have done. We recorded it at, we'd try to start for no later than 8 o'clock in the Monday night, and that meant that any story that had broken that night right up to about 7:45, if it was a big story, we were able to get a wee joke about it in that night's programme, or a wee, at least a mention. And so we'd record that about 8 o'clock as live, and only if a camera broke down or if somebody said the C word or anything would we ever edit. We'd keep it right on the dial with a stopwatch almost. And then that made it, a wee bit easier for the team up in the gallery who were meant to do the edit, because the programme had to go out at 10:35. Yeah. So you didn't leave a lot of wriggle room if you were parting about during the recording and everything, and it was like a Doug's dinner. And you just said, right, there you go, see if you can tap that up in like an hour and a half to stick it on BBC One. So we were very strict with that, but again, that was good kind of training, good kind of grounding as well. And I had an absolute ball doing it, and particularly when we were able, we always used to get a cup final special which went into a slightly different slot. Basically, whoever was playing in the cup final, an example always got back to me, it was Hearts Gretna 2006. Then their programme that night, it went out from, it was the big hotel just off the M74 down in Gretna. Can't remember what it's called again, but you see it for the motorway. And we recorded the show in there. Half the audience was Hearts fans, half the audience were Gretna fans. Brooks Milson, the owner of Gretna at the time, he was actually just stood no nearer than out in the car park. We had a camera on him in the car park because the smoking ban had come into play, of course, just about a month or so earlier. And he was the absolute chain smoker, you're right. So it was just a gag as well, but we kept him out in the car park, puffing away in his fags, and we just got to him now and again on the camera. But that was brilliant. So with a show like that, we recorded that one on the Thursday night. We would have done all that on the Thursday night, just so that because it was going out on a Friday night, which in later years, 10:35 on a Friday night, it's now, like the Graham Norton slot or something like that. So it's a big slot in the schedule. So we wanted just to tweak it and tweak it and tweak it and try to get it right. So these shows were great. We had a ball day then travelling around the country. It was magic.
I remember them. They were superb. See if you could pick maybe one guest that kind of springs to mind as maybe your favourite or whatever. Do you get anybody in mind?
Well, for personal reasons, when we get Tony Christie on, when Tony Christie had done at the time Dane Amarillo with Peter Kay, the charity record for Red Nose Day.
That's right.
They were looking. He was kind of reigniting his career in the back of that, quite right as well. But I'd always been a fan of his. And actually, Amarillo would only have been about my 11th favourite Tony Christie song. To the point, there was a wee bit of me when he did Amarillo, I was a wee bit annoyed. It's like, we've all got our musical heroes. And when they do something like that, albeit for a good cause, it kind of doesn't sit easily with you, you know what I mean?
Aye.
So, it's like the adverts and the boy out the Who. Who's the front man of the Who?
That's your wheelhouse. You're really good with music.
Come back to me.
Are you going to quickly Google it? He's going to quickly Google it, Tam. That's what you got to do.
You can Google it if it's fine. I can see him in my mind as well. But anyhow, he took part recently. I'll give you another one. Robert De Niro, I think still the now. He's taken part in some right naff adverts on telly. You must have seen them, right?
Aye.
So I'm sure he's making millions of pounds, whether he needs it or not. But there must be die-hard Robert De Niro fans watching these adverts and saying, "Oh, Robert, for fuck, come on, these are hideous." So there was a wee bit about that with me when you're seeing Tony Christie joking about with, Zippy and Bungle for Rainbow in a video and all that, So to answer your question, when we did get Tony Christie on the show, I'd been to see him live and all that. I've got all his albums and all the rest of it. I still listen to him. He's got an absolutely amazing voice. I saw him last summer up in Arbroath at the Webster Theatre. When Tony Christie came on the show, part of the joy for me, he was doing a rehearsal in the afternoon because he was going to sing 2 songs. He brought out an album. It's entitled Today in the back of the Amarillo Success.
Yep.
And it was an album of covers, the pop classics. And he was singing Life on Mars, the Bowie song. So there was me, Tony Christie fan. I kind of sneaked into the studio, sat up in one of the seats in the audience, just me sitting there. As Tony Christie, one of my musical heroes, was doing his rehearsal for the show that night, and it was absolutely spine-tingling. And then, of course, when he came on the show, he sang us out with that song, but we weren't going to let the audience down. We just said to them all, after the credits had been over and the show was in the can, we just said to the audience, "You want to hear Amarillo?" And they're all getting up. So Tony, being a good sport, he went straight into Amarillo just for the crowd that was in that night. So he was great. And then I think I mentioned him earlier, I was always a fan. Who isn't a fan of Mark Letizia? You can still, if you've got a spare 10 minutes, you just stick his name into YouTube and sit and enjoy all the great clips, all the great goals for Southampton. So when we had Mark Letizia on, he was absolutely amazing. The Proclaimers were as well. Jim McLean, poor old Jim McLean's not very well right now, but he was a great sport when he came onto the show. There was so many of them. I mean, it's hard to, with 2, maybe 3 guests, in every show. And as I say, certainly the 7 years on BBC One, we must have done about 100. I don't know, I think about 114 shows it ended up, so loads of them.
What about
see your first, did you ever wonder when you were going to record this live, especially in Glasgow at 8 o'clock at night, did you ever wonder about the crowd, maybe getting a wee bit too rowdy or anything like that, or did you like that?
No, the crowd were brilliant, and the crowd actually were rowdy when we wanted them to be rowdy. I mean, they were great at joining in. I mean, there was a whole thing we did, I think, our 2 seasons where we had looking for Scotland's most talented fan. And it was a variety of folk came in, maybe a guy came in with his guitar singing a song. We had an absolutely crazy Hibs fan that we got on one night who wanted to show how good he was on a pogo stick. And he came in and basically we introduced him out. You know, he's effectively on live telly, and he came out in front of the studio audience with his pogo stick. And while we played some big fast bit of music, he just bounced about. And his Hibs hat on the pogo stick. Now, all these guys were absolutely brilliant. And the studio audience, we put out tickets to right around the country, and a lot of folk made a wee night of it. There was many a time folk came down in a car load and they stayed overnight in Glasgow, and there was supporters, buses, members of supporters buses who got a block booking of tickets. And they would come down and see the show, and we would actively encourage them to wear their Fatma taps and that, and the audience, and it gave it a right good splash of colour. And what it helped with me, if you imagine if there'd been a big story involving Hearts, let's say that week, right, and you knew if you're looking out at the start of the show that there's a couple of guys up the back there with Hearts tops, you would just tell the director, right, 2 Hearts fans up the second back row, right hand side. Make sure you get a shot of them, because if there was a wee gag or something about Hearts, it was good to just get a shot of them. So that was great. The audiences were absolutely brilliant. And the great thing is, I had it was a few months ago now, I had put up some clips that one of the guys that used to work in Offside was, he'd sent me a few clips that he'd discovered with the shows, and I put them up on Instagram. And the feedback I got from folk was immense. It was absolutely brilliant. So we're trying just now, because we know there are still going to be gaps in the telly schedules for the foreseeable future, because nobody's been able to make programmes in it. We're currently trying to get some old compilations sorted out, Offside Gold. And
you should just get back and do it.
Sorry?
That'd be brilliant. Imagine that back in the telly.
Don't get me wrong, that would be my dream. I mean, the idea that if we could get some compilations on the telly and they were well received, then I would love to say, right, you know, it's not as if we stopped doing it 13 years ago, but it's not as if when we stopped doing it 13 years ago, we stopped because I was 60 and I was getting a bit doddery. I mean, I was doing them in my late 20s into my 30s, so at 50 now, easy peasy, we could just do new shows. And I don't think, to be fair to Offside and to everybody that worked in the shows, that it's never actually been replaced, you know. I mean, I salute the team that they A View for the Terrace, for example, but as you know yourself, it's a totally different type of show, you know. They're not aiming for laughs all the time, and they've not got a studio audience, and it's not even really. I mean, I think they were recording them on a Wednesday for going out on a Friday night, and the big shame for them, as I said to some of the boys when they were on ways on the radio, the amount of things in their first run of programmes that they missed on a Thursday, because Thursday's been a big European night. I think it was a Thursday as well that Brendan Rodgers walked out in Celtic. I think a Thursday as well we've had Scotland games, so they were always kind of missing things like that. So as I referred to earlier, the beauty of doing your shows like As Live, you know, if it was 7:45 in the old Offside days and we heard that a manager had been sacked in the Premier League, then we'd have been able to get a wee reference to it and hopefully a wee joke if we thought one up quickly enough.
Like you say, it was different as well. Do you remember, obviously, when you had Jonathan on as well, doing his wee bit at the end? Like, that was superb. That was brilliant.
That was great, because Johnny with that. I mean, Johnny Watson, who's a pal of mine, was Johnny, and all the time that he did Only an Excuse and still do it, in fact, Johnny never ever claimed to be an impressionist. He never claimed to be, you know, like Alistair McGowan or John Culshaw, or for older viewers, Mike Garwood or anything like that. He's an actor.
Yeah.
And Johnny needs a script. He knows that. Johnny is an actor who works for a script. But again, starting with the inception of Only an Excuse back in what would it be now, 1984-85, when it first exploded on the airwaves on radio. Johnny is a big football fan, and it turns out, what a happy coincidence, he had a skill for doing some voices. So that's where that all stemmed from. So the great thing was when we get the wee bat, I think it was called Only a Wee Excuse. I think that's what we called it on Offside, with Johnny's wee 5-minute stand-up spot. That had originally been done, recorded during the week, and with Johnny in makeup and stuff like that, and then we would play in the clip on the Monday night show. Right. But you know what, it was more trouble than it was worth. And we says to Johnny, you know what, we know you're all like a stand-up comedian, you know, but just why don't you just get in front of the audience, you and the microphone, you've got the script, because you're an actor, you've got the script on the auto cue and the cameras, you know, and just do some characters there. And that worked a treat. The audience always loved it, you know.
Oh, 100%.
There's tons of them on YouTube now, and they've got thousands upon thousands of views. Just a Johnny just doing his 5-minute stand-up. It's millions, yeah.
Aye.
So you getting back to the guest, Tam, is there any sort of awkward moments you ever had with anybody who maybe just didn't sort of fit the dynamic or anything like that on the show?
Well, I but I never think, you know, the one that always just kind of slightly frustrates me, we get John McGinley on, former Bolton and Scotland striker. And when he came up late afternoon into the BBC, we went, had a cup of tea and all that, and he was like, chat, right? And he was pulling out one great story after another, you know. And I'm like, no, this is great, this guy's going to be dynamite. And then when we got him on the settee in the studio at night, the minute the cameras came on, the music started, the lights were on, he just froze. It was the strangest thing ever. Now, as I say, the audience was, it was you know, 270 or an audience. Here's a guy that had played at Wembley, played at Hampden. You know, he just couldn't handle it. And always, whenever I asked him anything, even directly teeing him up with stories that he'd told me earlier, he just started answering monosyllabically. He was, yeah, aye, no, aye. And I thought, oh, geez, so, you know. And then, when we went back into the green room, and I'm already hoping and praying that my producer and my director are going to be able to cut it down, make it decent for the telly. The minute we went into the green room and we had a wee bottle of beer, he then started wee stories again. They were absolutely dynamite. He must have told me at least 3 when he had a bottle of beer in his hand. I thought, God, if he'd have even told one of those on the show, that's all we would have needed. So that was more frustrating than anything else. But I wouldn't even go at the guy. And he just, maybe just wasn't for him. The mere panic was always, because you're doing it as live, was the very thought, which put the fear of God into you, the very thought of a guest no turning up. And we were lucky that in all the years it only happened once, but it was still a late call-off. We were meant to get on the big darts player, Andy Fordham, the big hairy guy. And when he was flying up for London at lunchtime to come up and do the show in Glasgow, as he was walking up the steps of the plane to fly up, he fell and slipped a disc in his back, and he was carted away to hospital. So in all the drama for him personally and all that, it was probably even about 2 hours later, he might have been lying in the hospital bed when he suddenly realised, fuck's sake, I was meant to be doing a show in Glasgow the night for the BBC. So we get the frantic call. Imagine this, once you've got all this stuff prepped for him, you had clips, you had a script, you had jokes about him, you had wee things about darts, you had, I can't even mind all the stuff we would have had lined up. But anyhow, about 5 o'clock, you know, when I'm almost getting changed into my nice, crisp, well-pressed flannels to do the show, we get the call that Andy Fordham he's not here, he's in hospital. And so what we did, and I'm always thankful to a man of many clubs, but I think primarily Dunfermline and Airdrie, big Andy Smith. Right. If you mind, Tam, big striker, short blonde hair.
Oh, aye. I know who you're talking about. Aye.
Well, Andy I think maybe in the Saturday, a couple of days earlier, he might have, I think he was maybe on off the ball with us, and he'd been really good. And I said, you know what? Let's give him a call. Let's see if he can come in. And he didn't stay too far for Glasgow. So we got him in, and I can't even mind the reason. I think it might even have been that he was one of the guys that was in a shot at glory. There were a lot of the kind of the Airdrie era players in that, with Ali McCoist and Robert Duval. So we thought that's something we can ask him. We were clutching at straws at this point, you know, because Andy Fordham was a big booking that night. So that was it. But with anything like that happened, as you can imagine as well, for all the years that we did it, when you started tipping into winter, you know, as much as I'm saying to you earlier that I love now the prospect of a frost or some snow, I think it's an away Motherwell game called off and I can go to the rescheduled one midweek. When you get the frost and the snow, traffic problems and all that, on a Monday, when you were doing off the ball, you're thinking, our guest isn't going to arrive. You know, maybe they were just, could be somebody from Aberdeen, let's say, driving down the road, going to get caught up in traffic or the weather. The audience even, you know, I mean, what if we were meant to do a show and the camera's always panning about the audience and there's no audience there because they've all been held up. So you had a lot of panic about that, but you just had to go on with it, you know.
Well, luckily, as you say, you can adapt to it. But we'll not keep you too much more longer, Tam. I just want to ask about your sort of column that you've got in the Daily Record. So you'd sort of comedic style writing about news and sport. But one thing that you'd done as well was your sort of restaurant reviews and the food critic. How did that come about? Was that just your idea?
Well, the food critic, I mean, I did that for 16 years at the Record, and then when I moved in 2014 to the Scottish Sun, it was the first thing they were wanting me to do, and I did it with them right through to last year when I finished up with them, which was just the way print journalism is. It just, I'm afraid that as a columnist, that was certainly an expensive luxury. Yeah. So that was it. Sadly, the newspapers are now they're in an awful state, and I don't think it's ever going to come back. And I say that as a guy that had 29 years in newspapers, and I'd love to do something else in newspapers, but it seems highly unlikely because, you know, they simply don't have budgets. But when I joined the Record in '98 from the Evening Times, it just so happened I was signed up by my then editor to do a football column on a Saturday and a news column midweek. But the Saturday that I was going to start off in the paper, just coincidentally, September 1998, it turned out to be the same Saturday that the Daily Record was launching its first ever magazine. And the editor wanted me to do something in the magazine. So I'm kind of always a firm believer in kind of sticking to what you know. So I says to him, look, I'll do something if it's something that interests me, you know. And he says, right, what are your interests? Because I was just meeting this guy, really, you know. He says, what are your interests? And at the time, 1998, I'd have been, 28, 29-year-old, single, footloose and fancy-free, absolutely brilliant social life. So I says to him, well, listen, I socialise a lot, I eat out a lot, I drink out a lot, and all. He says, right, restaurant reviews. We're wanting somebody to do the restaurant reviews, but we want them in your kind of style. We want them Joe Punter style. We don't want them all fancy Dan like some of the Sunday broadsheets and all that, you know, writing about where the artichokes were sourced and how the tomatoes weren't quite as good as the ones that you had in Italy 3 years ago, you know, all that pish. We want it written in your style and just having a laugh and a joke and a carry on. So I says, right, that sounds all right. It sounded better than all right, you know, getting paid to, because he reached a contract to give me the extra money for that. And of course, any restaurant you went to, you got a receipt and you claimed them back for the paper every month, kind of thing, you know. So you were suddenly getting paid to go out and feed your face. You and a pal, you and whoever it might be, your bird, you and whoever. It was brilliant. So that's how it started. And out of all the things I've done, you know, we were very, very lucky that the minute we started off the ball, that it kind of took off, and it's become a long time kind of success. And as I say, there's no many TV programmes in front of a studio audience that will stretch to 114 shows, you know. But out of all the things I did, in terms of the whoosh, It was the restaurant reviews. There was folks suddenly contacting me who wouldn't even have known that I wrote about football or that I was on the radio talking about football. It was just they were fascinated by the restaurant reviews, and I had a great following with that.
Oh, it was brilliant, and my dad and my brother as well used to follow.
On Instagram and stuff like that, didn't you? You're still doing it on Instagram. You were doing Oban the other day and that, fish and chips.
I have not done it any great length, but wherever I go, and I mean, even recently, like through lockdown and that, I've tried to support as many the restaurants that I go to ordinarily. When they started doing takeouts or delivery of that, I would always try and help them out and plug them and stick up their names. And then even like when I've been doing a wee weekly giveaway thing for the key workouts or NHS folk, I've got them to maybe put up a meal for four or, for somebody that deserves it and all that. So they've been very good with that. And that on a very, very smaller scale has been the equivalent to kind of still doing restaurant reviews. But as stuff expands, I mean, I'm in the throes. I don't want to craw myself and jinx me or anything like that, but I'm in the throes of maybe doing a food-related thing with the BBC. So that'd be good. And that would be a temptation.
That'd be magic to see.
Because I think that's after 21 years of doing the restaurant reviews up to this time last year. I don't want to chuck all that away because it's amazing the amount of stuff that you've got tucked away in your head after going to a restaurant every week for all the years professionally, apart from all the other ones I was going during the week, but going to all these professionally and every week writing a 1,200 word review. So I don't want that to go to waste. I want to go on another media platform where...
Oh, 100%. Is there any restaurants that kind of stick out in mind that you remember thinking that was a tremendous experience in there? Or?
Well, there was the one where I nearly got killed and I wouldn't have been sitting there Thompson in it. It wasn't a hasten to happen food poisoning or anything like that. It was a cracking place up in Argyll up. Now, if you know the road, if you go up to Loch Gilphead, and as you get through Loch Gilphead, you come to the T-junction, you can either turn right to go to Oban, or you can turn left to get down to Campbelltown and all that. Right. If you turn left there and head down, you then head inland a wee bit and you come to this tiny wee place called Kilberry, Kilberry. And back in the day, this might have been about, I don't know, 2000, no, it was later than that, sorry, forgive me. It was around about 2005 or 6. They won our daily record hot plate award. Me and my wife had gone away up there one night, stayed overnight, tiny wee place with like 3 rooms, but the rooms were beautiful. Food was great, husband and wife team that ran it, and you couldn't fault the place. So lo and behold, they won our annual award. So after they had won it, I had to go up for the presentation, and a couple of my pals from Hamilton, one of them said, listen, I'll drive, Mum will go up and make a wee date, and I thought, absolutely brilliant. So the 3 years drove away back up there, whatever it was, a good 2.5 hours in the motor. And up there I had to meet up with the owners of the place. I had to meet up with a photographer for the paper who was going to meet us up there. And we were getting ready for the presentation, So, to make it really nice, what the folk at the Kilberry Inn had done just before we get the photo taken, wee local guy appears with this big massive basket of fruit and veg and all that, and he's the guy that provides all the fruit and veg. And he thought, Tam, in terms of local produce and that, I thought it'd be nice to have him in the photo. I said, that's a great idea. 30 seconds later, another wee guy walks round with a sheep on a leash, right? And Tam, this is the guy that provides all our lamb and mutton just up the road, the wee farm. Thought it'd be good to get him in the photo. I says, absolutely brilliant. Next minute, 30 seconds later, this guy comes round with this massive, big Highland bull, right? And Tam, this is the farmer we use for all our beef. We thought this would look great in the photo as well. One of the big hairy coos, right? The type, right? And I thought, wow, this is going to look extraordinary. So we're all lined up for the photo. Me in the middle with the presentation of the trophy to the winners. And then at one side, we've got the sheep and we've got the guy with the fruit and the veg. And at just my side, we've got the big Highland bull, right? Just very docile big thing, right? And the boy that was looking after that, right? Well, the photographer to get the shot right, the amount of work that went into this was incredible. He'd already climbed onto the roof of his motor just to get up there and get this great shot of us on the photo, right? The minute he clicked his camera, I still don't know if it was the noise of the camera, if it was the flash that had maybe reflected off the silver hot plate award that I was giving them, but it did something to upset the Highland bull, right? But it didn't go crazy, but just in a very nonchalant sort of way. It just went like that and flicked its head, right? But it's right next to me, and its left horn, which is razor sharp, right? It went in the bottom of the jacket I was wearing and just cleanly ripped it right up my side. For the bottom of the jacket,
God, man.
right up to under the arm, right? The jacket just fell apart, right? What a fright I got, right? And the guy who was in charge of the bull, he says, Tam, I'm not going to lie to you. If you had been one step nearer the bull, or it had been one step nearer you, you would have been dead. That would just have gone right through you. And everything, it'd have been like, mind that scene in Jaws when they cut open the shark, all the number plates, the tint of paint for him. It'd have been like that. So a restaurant review nearly killed me. I'll never forget that as long as I live.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. What's so see for the plans for the future then? Obviously everything's kind of on hold just now, apart from the radio show. But are you thinking, like you say, about your food sort of avenue? You might go back down with the BBC. Is there anything else in the pipeline for you?
I mean, I always like to keep myself busy. I mean, aside from, I mean, the way my week is right now, let's say we're still effectively in lockdown. The whole thing hasn't been released yet. So I've been lucky in terms of the Saturdays, I say, with the radio, and that keeps me busy on the Friday as well. I plough through all my week's newspapers and that to do a wee bit of prep for the Saturday in terms of what we might be talking about and all that. And again, and the Monday, for the start of all this, I get a wee gig going, Kay Adams' programme in Radio Scotland in the morning, doing a wee sports quiz for her. So that was good. That takes up a bit of my time, getting that prepared, and then doing audio clues for it, and then video clips that they put on social media and all that.
Yeah.
And then for about a year now, I've been involved with Peter Martin's company, PLZ Soccer. Right. And I did a Thursday with them. And Peter's been my pal for years, and I know Big Ruffy well, so it was good getting involved with that. And that was just a matter of, it probably tied in with me when I went on Instagram last year. I think maybe when I came back for that holiday, because when I finished up with the newspaper, which was a big chunk of my life, and always took up a huge part of my week, when I realised I suddenly didn't have that, and when I realised at the heart of it, the reason I didn't have it is because everything is going digital now. And quite frankly, a print newspaper they don't have the money, and you know, so you have to finally maybe even get your finger out your arse and move with the times a wee bit. So when I was finally cajoled into going on social media last summer by my wife, and I went on to Instagram, and yet lo and behold, I love it. Right, I've great fun on it, and it's been great, and it's great. I've been able to do a lot of charity things on it and benefit local businesses and all that. I've got a wee buzz out of that. But figuring on the Instagram. When Peter was wanting to get involved with PLZ Soccer around about this time last year, I knew that was strictly Facebook Live, YouTube, and podcasts, you know. So I thought, why not do it? It was another wee another wee string to my bow. So I've given that a go. So we did that on the Thursday. I'm doing that, in fact, right after I'm finished with you boys here. And I can assure you, I won't be getting changed either. I've been I've been you know, I remember dear old Arthur Montford of Scott Sport fame. If you remember him, boys,
right.
Dear old Arthur. When we get him on Offside, I think he was the only guy. We're being old school. He was the only guy that ever came in to do Offside with a change of clothes. Like he came in, and then he asked, "Where's my dressing room, Tam?" And then he got his and then he came out immaculate in his, you know, clothes for the camera, his costume, if you like, you know. But when it's been with podcasts, anything like that I've done over the past 110 plus days, I've done them in my jammies, I've done them in my goonie, and I'm quite comfortable with that. So Peter's thing, PLZ Soccer, has gone from strength to strength, and the reason that you'll know that, if you check out the amount of newspapers online or in print who basically lift a lot of the stuff that Peter gets, a lot of the interviews that he gets, and uses it, and in most cases they name check PLZ Soccer. So he's doing really well, he's working really hard, and I'm hoping, particularly after lockdown, when we can get back to maybe sitting in a studio and looking into a camera and speaking into proper microphones, I hope it's going to go from strength to strength. All the other radio stuff I enjoy, and of course the Saturdays, and it's been great. You know what, the best thing about it for me with Off the Ball on a Saturday since March is that being able to get into the BBC and sit in a normal studio and do a show. We've not been allowed to have any guests in with us, that's absolutely fair enough, that's the rules. But just for me and Stuart to be in there and get out the house for a bit, I know you can all go out now and you can travel a bit further, but just to get out the house and in there, it was absolutely brilliant, and we get a real buzz off it. Brilliant.
Well, Tam, big lovers of the show, big lovers of everything you've done over the last few years, so we'll not take up much more of your time, so thanks very much, mate, for coming on. It's been an absolute...
You're very welcome.
Honour.
Right, good luck to you boys, all the best.
Brilliant.
Cheers, Tam. Bye-bye.
See you later.